What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes are back with another superstar from the sport of mixed martial arts. Today, we get to talk to Natan Levy. He's going to be fighting in Orlando on December 3rd. So all of us are making the sacrifice here on the day before Thanksgiving to bring you some content, shed a spotlight on Natan's fight versus Genaro Valdez. How you doing, Natan? Good to have you on the show.
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for allowing us to squeeze in last minute and the delays and everything going on. The unfortunate thing is him and that's my brother, we get to have some turkey tomorrow and indulge. You're on a strict diet, though. Is it tough to fight during the holidays? You living in Vegas, I don't know if you've been here long enough to celebrate Thanksgiving and things like that.
Yeah, I've been here for 9 years, so I definitely was invited to Thanksgiving a few times, and I loved it. Mm-hmm. But not tomorrow. I'm cutting weight. I don't need the distraction, and I definitely don't need to cheat. So I'm gonna stay home and eat some leaves.
What are you gonna miss the most? What of the Thanksgiving, either the main courses like ham and turkey or the sides? Which one are you gonna miss the most?
Dessert.
Dessert. Okay. Yeah. Well, dessert can almost go with every meal, but yeah. All right. So Natan, let me ask you something. You came out of the gate undefeated, and then you took a loss, but then you bounced back quickly. Some fighters sometimes go through 2 fights, 3 fights before they can shake it. You shook it quickly. Tell me about that. How much did that feel good to overcome, to get past that loss and now start on another win streak?
Yeah, the loss, it was very hard for me. It was my first loss. I never lost in amateur nor pro, but also I always knew, in this sport, losses happen and it's okay. It's a part of the game. For me, I didn't get destroyed. I didn't get knocked out. I didn't get finished. I was there throughout the whole fight. I know I was a little bit rusty on my takedown defense, and that cost me the fight, but I didn't feel like I'm not in the level. I'm not, I don't belong in the playing field. For me, it proved that I did belong. And it was just about getting some things right and winning the next one.
And you're right. You didn't get finished. So I want to ask you, do you feel like it was more physically you came up short that night? Mentally you came up short that night? And the process of overcoming it, was it anything that sat with you for a long time? Or were you able to get right back, start practicing, start a training camp, and then which led to the win?
I mean, it still sits with me. I'm still pissed off.
Okay.
I think, I came up short from a few reasons. One is emotionally, I hadn't fought in a year and it was my UFC debut. It was a big moment for me. And I think usually it doesn't happen, but I lost my cool a little bit and kind of tried to knock him out with every strike and kind of deviate a little bit from the game plan. And also physically, we always train everything. We train wrestling, striking, the jiu-jitsu, but I feel like I wasn't sharp enough on my wrestling. My responses were a second too late. And I feel like the camp was lacking in wrestling.
No, I don't want to put any pressure on you, but I remember a long time ago, a guy named George St. Pierre. He came out, got a couple wins, and then he experienced his first loss against Matt Hughes. He got submitted. But then after that, he got over it, peeled off 6 straight, won a title, and then after that, he peeled off another 14 straight. So an early loss sometimes can be a good thing because you get it out of the way, I suppose, and then you know exactly where you need to be and you can trudge forward. And it sounds like you have put it, but what I did like hearing was that you still have that bitter taste. I think that's what a competitor should have. You know what I mean? Almost like somewhere down the road, you may want to get that back from the opponent himself, or just let it fuel you.
Yeah, maybe it's my ego, but I do feel I'm the better fighter, and I do want to get it back one day. Of course, I lost that fight. He won, so props. But for me, it was that kind of. On one hand, it makes it easier, like I said, because I did belong in there. But on the other end, it makes it harder because I feel like I lost to someone who's not as good as I am.
Got it. Okay. Well, Genaro Valdez is coming off a loss. Same thing. He came off with a great start to his career. He's coming off a loss, so I imagine he's probably going through the same things you went through. Do you study a lot of film on fighters, or do you let the coaches do that and then they explain the game plan to you?
As far as game plan, I let the coaches, like, we're a team. I feel like they're more experienced, they're more knowledgeable. So I would listen to what they say, and they usually come up with the game plan. I do watch the fights and study tape, mostly to get like the opponent's timing down. It's like if you're going to fight somebody you sparred with 10 times, it will be easier, right? So when I'm watching them fight, I'm kind of sparring them in my imagination.
Mm-hmm.
And that way I'm more familiar with their moves, with their tempo. But as far as Genaro goes, he's very wild. So he's got like some patterns, but a lot of it is random and it comes out of nowhere. So again, it's about watching the tempo and like knowing how long usually he's going to throw. Maybe I'm not sure what he's going to throw, but I know how long he's going to go before there's a break in tempo, before there's like a break in the pace. So that's what I'm trying to get a feel of.
Natan, I want to talk to you a little bit about your road to where you are today, right? Like, you're far away from home. This wasn't the easiest thing, the career choice and all that, and to move all the way over here. How often do you reflect on some of the hard times and just trying to get the career done all the way out here?
Yeah, it's been a hell of a journey so far. Like in karate and in MMA, I've had a long martial arts journey. But for me, it's just the beginning. So I like to be nostalgic and think about everything I went through, but I also know there's a lot more coming.
What's the big motivation in your life? Sometimes we hear fighters say, I just do this for the money. I don't really care about the belt. Some fighters only care about the belt. What about you? What would you say if we were to talk to you again this time next year? What would we be talking about? What's the motivation here?
What drives me, I would say, is challenging myself and doing the uncomfortable every day, especially on fight day. And of course, I have my family. I'd love to be able to provide for, I will provide for my wife, for my mother, and whoever needs me, my children one day. So of course the money is good, and I hope I can make a lot through fighting. But what really drives me, I know I can make money in 10 different places. I know I could have been rich by now if I put the same amount of energy I put into fighting into anything else that's more profitable. So again, what really drives me is like the martial arts journey, challenging yourself. I love training. I love teaching martial arts. But I feel like if you do it just at some, random gym somewhere, and you don't go out there and test your skills, test yourself, then it's kind of missing a big part of it. I feel like everybody should train martial arts, and I feel like most should also compete to a certain level.
I've noticed in my career of covering the sport, there's certain fighters that when you hear the impact of their punches in the arena, it feels like it's happening to you. You're one of the only guys. You hit pretty hard, so hard that even watching it on TV, you can kind of hear it and go, "Oh my God!" How do you balance that? Putting your foot on the gas and going for that knockout, and then at the same time sticking to strategy. And how do you do that with your coaches? And has that ever been a problem?
It's always been like a balancing act, because I'm fast twitch. but I don't want to burn myself out too fast. So a lot of times I fight like I'm very cautious with my energy. I'm conserving it for the right times. Sometimes it's like you're doing intervals. Sometimes you're jogging, sometimes you're sprinting. You can't sprint for 3 miles. You're just gonna die. So I just I try and feel the fight, know when to put it on, when not to put it on. I'm always throwing hard, but just you don't want to overdo it. And that's what I did in my first fight in the UFC. I think I tried to hurt the guy too much, and I spent too much energy, and I lost my footing many times. If you don't look for the knockout, you're more likely to find it. I don't have a knockout on my record, but a lot of times I hurt people with some blows, and then they shoot for a desperate takedown, and I get the choke. And then it doesn't matter how tough you are. You can maybe eat a punch, but you can't survive a good choke.
Natan, you're going from cold and dry, and I'm talking about the weather we have in Vegas. We live in Vegas as well, to warm and humid. Will that affect you at all, fighting in Florida?
I really doubt it. I can't know until I'm in there, but I'm from Israel. It's very hot and very humid.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually like it better. Like I feel better training in that when I can sweat more, when it's more humid. So I don't think it's gonna bug me. I actually feel like it's gonna make me feel home.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You mentioned one other thing. What other career path you could have taken aside from being a fighter? What do you think you would have been doing right now if you weren't a fighter? What would be your career?
I mean, before fighting, I was teaching martial arts, and I was, I think I was pretty good at it. And I had a lot of students, and I had a few successful gyms. And I started teaching at 18 when I came back from Japan and got my black belt there. And until I was, and I opened those gyms and ran them until I was 22. And I closed everything to fly to Vegas and pursue this crazy dream of being a UFC fighter. So I think I would still be doing that, but for me, I left this because I felt like, oh man, I'm 22 years old and I'm just telling people, to punch the bag and do the push-ups and do everything that I should be doing all day long. But I can't because I'm busy teaching. So, I said I can always be a martial arts teacher, but I can only be a fighter now. So I had to just get out of that comfort zone and go challenge myself.
Interesting. And I'm sure you'll be able to go back. So for now, I guess the focus is being a prize fighter, and we want to wish you the best of luck with the rest of your camp. I hope you have a safe weight cut, safe travels to Orlando, and then one heck of a fight against Genaro Valdez on December 3rd at the UFC Fight Night in Orlando. Thank you again for the time. And if you can enjoy any of Thanksgiving, we wish you the best with that.
I'll enjoy it by all my friends enjoying it and you guys enjoying it. Thank you very much for having me, and it's going to be a hell of a fight. Tune in.